Spike is best pony. He's just the nicest, most humble, kind, giving... Wait, Spike. Spike, what are you doing? Spike! Stop! Spike has been one of my favorite characters in the show by far, but has he been hiding a secret that is perhaps the most sinister thing since Pinky's secret identity? Not that I'm self-advertising or anything, no, nothing like that. But if you do want to see it, the link is right here. But anyway, Spike has a lot of significant traits that seem to go without explanation or excuse. For example, Spike thinks his egg was purple and green.
Cute little purple and green egg.
Obviously, it was purple and darker purple. Why would he guess that his egg was purple and green? Maybe it's normal for the egg to be the same color as the dragon. That would make sense, but that would imply that this egg is not normal. Now why is that? Because of mutation? Genetic modification? He also doesn't have wings, or at least not yet. And every dragon we've ever seen in this show has wings. Again, why is this? Mutation? Genetic modification? Spike can also send messages magically via his fire breath back and forth from the princess. Obviously, this is not a common ability among dragons. And he also only sends it back and forth from and to the princess. Is it a spell, or is it mutation? Or genetic modification? If you haven't caught on yet, there's a trend here. What bothers me the most is that he also becomes a dog in the human world. A fully grown dragon, if it were to go through the mirror, it would have never become a dog. Now I'm guessing that the mirror translates the species into the otherworldly equivalent. So ponies, for example, are the dominant race in Equestria. So in the mirror world, they would be the dominant race on Earth, humans. So there was some sort of error in translation maybe? Maybe due to genetic irregularities? Also, Spike would outlive any pony who might want to take care of him, unless that pony happened to be an alicorn. Now what are the odds that the only dragon raised by ponies happened to be raised by a future alicorn-to-be? We know this is the only dragon raised by ponies because in Secret of My Excess, they say they know next to nothing about dragon physiology. This is probably because they never have interaction with dragons. Faust says that the egg hatching test was arranged by Twilight Sparkle by Princess Celestia because she sensed her connection to the elements. She planned for it. In Dragon Quest, a dragon calls Celestia the namby-pamby pony princess, implying that relations may be distant and tense between ponies and dragons. This also implies that Celestia wasn't given the egg by any dragon as a gift out of friendship or anything. However, dragons are a powerful race made up of people who would put Spike through initiation just to be friends with him. They're independent and irresponsible. If a mother had to give up a child for some reason, maybe she would be more hesitant to give it to another dragon than to just some ponies. What is our conclusion? Spike has something wrong with him. Whether it be a mutation or something done to him intentionally, something is up. While seemingly insignificant, he's one of the most powerful characters in the show, and he somehow managed to be implemented into society in such a way that he would always have a reason to stay, Twilight Sparkle, who presumably wouldn't be outlived by Spike. Now why did this happen? Spike has been looked down upon by the creators of MLP for a long time. He's always at the butt of the joke.
He's just there for comic relief.
And when he's not, he's been given contradictory personality traits. One minute he's the voice of reason, the next minute he's oblivious and has no grips on the situation. One minute he's in love with Rarity, the next minute he doesn't give a care if she's interested in someone else. When the writers try to give him an episode with some focus on his character, it doesn't tend to go over well because the writers can't seem to agree on who he is. He's just as intelligent as anyone in the main six, and even got his own throne in the new castle. He's proven himself countless times, and yet he still isn't measured on the same level as them. This is made apparent when in Equestria Girls, even when the Sirens and even the Diamond Dogs become human, Spike, rather than becoming Twilight's brother or something, becomes a dog. A fire-breathing dragon that can grow bigger than a 3-story building becomes a dog. He is being extremely downplayed here, but maybe that's the intention. Maybe Spike is the underdog, no pun intended, for a reason. He's one person you would never expect to be a culprit in a major event. While capable of breaking through any lock, fighting off guards, straight up eating the wealth of others, sending regular updates back and forth from the highest political power in the country, and digging out escape routes, nobody would ever suspect him of anything immoral. If you're following me correctly, then you will know that I'm implying that Spike is a weapon. a secret weapon. A weapon of political power developed by none other than the princess herself. Now, that might seem like quite a leap in logic, but bear with me here because I have evidence. Remember back to the very first episode when Celestia, unbeknownst to them, sent Twilight and her soon-to-be friends on a mission to stop Nightmare Moon. They found the elements of harmony solidified in rock. There were 5. The 6th was presumably destroyed or lost, but would reveal itself when the bearers came together and Spark, Twilight, reactivated the elements. These are some of the most powerful weapons in Equestria. They are useful in the defense of the kingdom and in any other dire situation that may come up. These are the modern-day equivalent of nukes, a weapon that would not only defend the country and everything it stands for, but also would prevent countries from attacking. Spike was one of the only characters in this instance that seemed irrelevant. He wasn't representative of any element, and he wasn't even present. Or was he? Just before they left, he frantically exclaimed,
"We gotta stop Nightmare!"
and then fell asleep. Twilight then went down the stairs and immediately made a very loud noise. Noise that could easily wake up anyone, especially Spike. Knowing Spike's character, he would not give up so easily. As soon as he woke up, he'd either pace around the house until Twilight came back, or he would immediately get up and follow them to the castle. He's in a library of information that he ends up later knowing like the back of his hand. If he wanted to find out where they were going, he could. We also know that when Spike gets into a fit of greed, he mindlessly grabs everything that isn't his, anything that could be of value. If Spike was present at the initial reveal of the elements, we would know it if something was missing. Now, is something missing? Yes, something very important in fact. When we first see the elements, there are 6, yet isn't one supposed to be revealed by the spark? Moments later, there are only 5. Something went missing. Had Spike done something here, he could have turned back to normal. He did it once in Secret of My Excess, he could do it here too. Afterward, he could have made his way back home in a state of confusion, then woken up the next morning thinking it was all just a dream. Alternatively, he could have taken it intentionally, for some unknown purpose, or for someone. Either way, Spike somehow found a way to take this extra element. How do I know? Flash forward to Secret of My Excess. Among his small treasure trove is a lamp, a foam finger, and what looks like to be an element of harmony, still encased in stone. In this same episode, we see that a dog's brain is, compared to its own body, larger than that of a pony's in this world. Now, biologically, an animal's intelligence tends to rely on its brain size relative to its body. If this medical poster is true, then dogs in Equestria are more intelligent than the ponies. Why is this worth noting? Because Spike becomes a dog. Is he more intelligent than he lets on? Maybe this wasn't simply an animation error, but a robbery. A 7th element independent of the other 6. There's been talk and speculation of a 7th element for a long time, and that's a theory all on its own. For now, what this proves is that Spike has stolen an item of political significance, perhaps for someone he's in constant direct contact with? But if it was for Celestia, why does he still have it? Why do they need it in the first place? Many people saw the 7th color streak in Rainbow Rocks being emitted from Sunset Shimmer and made the inference that maybe she was the bearer of the 7th element of harmony. However, the Brony Notion made a great theory explaining that she may instead just be the human world equivalent to the element of magic, friendship. What this does prove is that if Sunset is an element of harmony, even if it is just another element of magic, then the elements can work with 7, not just 6. Dr. Wolf theorized that if there was a 7th element of harmony, it might be the element of sacrifice or selflessness, and if such an element existed, it would probably be held by Spike, one of the most selfless assistants in the show. Dr. Turquoise pointed out that the elements in the storybook are differently colored than they actually are. In short, he made a great case that the elements may have underwent physical changes when they were pushed to their limits in the banishing of Nightmare Moon. However, there is another possibility. The elements usually have a color pertaining to the color of the bearer or their cutie mark. What if this green mystery element, one that is a color reminiscent of a certain dragon we know, is the 7th element, the element of selflessness, Spike's element? It's not at all hard to tell that Celestia has planned much of the events of Friendship is Magic since the beginning. She sensed Twilight Sparkle's connection to the element, as suggested by Lauren Faust, and this is why Celestia made Twilight her protege. This is why she sent Twilight to Ponyville to make some friends. She watched her and led her from the very beginning all the way to her alicorn transformation. She even put Spike in her care. If Spike was insignificant, she probably wouldn't have done this. If Celestia could sense Twilight's connection, then surely she could also sense other people's connection as well. If Sunset is the bearer of the alternate element of magic, she would have sensed it. Maybe that's why Sunset was Celestia's original protege. If Spike too was connected, Celestia would sense it. That is why she put Spike and Twilight together. That is why Spike was led to take the 7th element. Not only is Spike a potential political weapon, he's an element of harmony, a modern day nuke being primed to fire at opposing powers.